What up with it? Today I want to come through real quick and I want to talk about the ego. I want to talk about the ego because the ego is a very important aspect of a person oneself if they want to rise to a higher state of consciousness on the road to enlightenment. The ego is the false self. The ego fools you into believing that it is you, when in reality it's a false image of yourself. So the ego must be conquered, or the ego must be mastered in order to rise to a higher state of consciousness. Not controlling your ego can bring you into emotional distress. And what I wanted to just bring out real quick or talk about was an ancient Kemet, the netter Set. And Set was in some aspects seen as the personification of unrighteousness, but he's also the personification of the ego. In the ancient Kemet, stories, you have a situation where you have Asar, which is the brother of Set, and because they all come from Ra, and it's Ra, then it's Shu, then it's Tefnut, then it's Ra, Shu, Tefnut, Geb. I'm missing somebody. I can't remember the exact order that they evolved from, but they all evolved from one another. Like first it was Ra, then it was Shu, then it was Tefnut, then it was somebody else, then it was Geb, then Asar, Aset, and Set, and Neptet. They all came from Geb, and then Heru comes from Asar and Aset. And then you have Ampu, who comes from Asar and Neptet. So basically what happened was Set was jealous of Asar. Asar was the king of the land, and Set was jealous of him, and he plotted on him to get him killed. He set him up, he captured him, and he killed him, and he chopped him up into pieces. Well, why did he do this? Because he was jealous of Asar, because Set was in love with Asar. You understand what I'm saying? And he wanted Aset. So, he was jealous or whatever. So he plotted on Asar and captured him, and captured him into like some type of boxer chest and sent him up the river, and all type of other stuff happened, and Aset ended up finding him, and he basically before she could really get to him or something like that, he basically took his body, chopped him up into 14 pieces, and scattered his pieces of his body all across the land and what have you. So she in a roundabout way brought him back together, but the only piece was missing was his penis, which was supposed to be swallowed by a fish. So I believe the story goes that he ended up getting like a gold phallus. And I believe the obelisk that you see, or the takens that you see in ancient Kemet, them like real tall like towers, they're kind of thin and tall, kind of in the shape of an erected penis. Well, that's what it symbolizes, a Sar penis. And they have them here in America, and they actually stole them from Kemet and placed them in other places or what have you. So basically he basically, you know, he was jealous of Asar, you know, plotted on him to get him killed. Set, she, you know, was such in love with him, and through her powers, because Set was seen to kind of have magical powers or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? She would like work magic, you know. If you study it, you can see different interpretations on that situation. So so she basically resurrected Asar to have a baby by him, and that's where Heru came in. So she had a baby by Asar. She resurrected it to have a baby by him. Then Asar went to the underworld, or the Duat. You understand what I'm saying? And Heru came and he avenged his father's death and became king of the two lands, the upper and the lower land. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, he avenged, you know, he got revenge for his father. So Set is the personification of ego. You understand what I'm saying? And Heru symbolizes mastering the ego, and Set symbolizes mastering the ego. You understand what I'm saying? So you must master your ego in order to rise to a higher state of consciousness. You understand what I'm saying? Because in some aspects, Heru was symbolized as the adept, the aspirant, the person who realizes who they are and now wants to follow this path to enlightenment. And the first step to that path is conquering the ego. You understand what I'm saying? You must conquer the ego, you know, in order to, you know, rise to a higher state of consciousness. Then there's other things that you must master also, but that's the first thing. That's the first thing that must be mastered, that must get checked. You know, your lower nature, your ego is your lower nature. You understand what I'm saying? You must master and control your lower nature. You must stand on top of your lower nature as the ruler of your lower nature to rise to the higher state of consciousness. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I can give you an example. Like, a person might say, you know, I want to stop eating meat. You understand what I'm saying? The part of you that's saying, I want to stop eating meat, this is your higher nature of yourself. This is your higher self wanting you to rise to a higher nature, because why? Your colon is directly connected to your brain. Depending on what you eat, it's going to basically set off different chemicals in your body to determine how you're going to feel and how good that your body is going to be able to function and how great you're going to be able to think. You know, that's why you hear a lot of things where people talking about the mental clarity they have when they're fasting, because they're not eating. And they're not eating, so basically, you know, their brain is able to operate fully because their body is not using up a lot of energy just to digest food. You understand what I'm saying? So when the person says, I'm going to stop eating meat, that's the higher aspect of they self that's wanting them to stop eating meat. So say they stop eating meat for like 2 days. Then on the 3rd day, all of a sudden they hear a voice saying, you know, go get a hamburger. I want a hamburger. I want some chicken. That's your lower self. So now you in battle. Now your lower self and your higher self is now in battle. You got one aspect of yourself that's trying to pull you back down, and you got another aspect of yourself that's trying to rise up. You understand what I'm saying? So you have to understand and be in tune with these type of things when you're trying to rise up to a higher state. A lot of people was living in the lower nature. You know what I'm saying? And that's just going to be the reality of it. A lot of people are ruled by the lower nature. A lot of people are not going to conquer the lower nature. A lot of people are not going to rise to a higher state of consciousness, ultimately to become married with their higher self. You know, I guess that's a word you could use, become married, to become one with their higher self, okay? Because you want to merge the high spiritual concept down here in the earthly flesh. You know, it's like you want it to like kind of meet, you know. You want it to kind of meet. So I don't know, man. I just wanted to come real quick and talk about that, because that's something that I'm very interested in, and I think it's something that should be talked about dealing with the things that we seeing today, every day in the world, especially as hip-hop, because, you know, if y'all check me out, check my channel out, you will see that I do music. Basically, you know, I rap. And now that I evolved and come to a higher state of consciousness, I now want to use my music to get this type of message across, basically, you know. And it's gonna be dope. It's not no corny shit, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be dope, you know. Might be some of the dopest shit you ever heard. Not the dopest shit you ever heard. I'm trying to get back from that ego thing where I'm the dopest in the world and all of that, you know. I just want to be me, do me, you know, and be acknowledged for what I am, because everybody is unique, everybody is different, everybody brings something something special to the table. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, the music is very powerful, and when we're dealing with a lower vibrational, lower nature of music, you know, it's influencing them lower natures in people. You understand what I'm saying? So having a high vibrational, higher consciousness type of music being played to the masses, this is going to evoke a higher vibration and a higher state of consciousness in the people. Even if you ever study anything about the subconscious mind, the subconscious mind is the part of your mind that acts on its own. It only knows what's being put in it. You know, the subconscious mind is the part of the mind that does things that you don't think about. You know, that's the part of the mind that brings out things in your character that happened to you many years ago, like when you was coming up as a kid, and things that got, you know, planted inside of your subconscious mind. They say the subconscious mind is like a fertile garden, and thoughts are like seeds. You understand what I'm saying? So you want to be careful what kind of seeds you plant in that garden, because they spring forth and they bring life. They bring life, you know. So the subconscious mind is very powerful. You know, you can get things inside of the subconscious mind through repetition, through rhymes, through repetitive things, repetitive speeches, you know. So when you listen to a song, fuck them bitches up, fuck them bitches up, fuck them bitches up, fuck them hoes, you know, you constantly listen to that over and over again. That's being planted inside of your subconscious mind, whether you know it or not, and that's going to affect you in your everyday life, in your everyday reality. So, you know, I wasn't trying to make this a long video or nothing like that. I just want to talk about the need, and you know, how powerful it is to master your lower self and to master the ego, the false perception of yourself. Ego is the false perception of yourself. It fools you into thinking it's you, but it's really not you. It's a false perception of you. Peace out. 100.